Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I'll show you the gameplay by Julia and Aleksandra, and the game complete in 27 moves. And this game is one of the very beautiful game where the white sacrifice the queen at the 9th move and it able to win the game and checkmate. And here you see how the game can play. So the first move start with the pawn to d4 and f6, f5 was played, and here you have the dash defense. And after this, the white play g4, and here you have a very unusual white second move. So g4 was played and the black captured the pawn. F takes g4. After this, the white move h3, and now the black play d5 to develop the pawn, and the bishop will protect the pawn if it's being captured. So the pawn at h takes g4 and the bishop takes g4 again, and now the queen to d3, then knight to f6, and here after this f3 was played and bishop to h5, then e4 was played and preparing the pawn to attack the knight, and now the black should prevent the pawn move to f5, as this pawn will be many threat and many activity, and also the pawn can move to e6 and block the king from moving to the square d7 or f7. So in the actual game, c6 was played, and after this it become the white become slightly better in this position, and now the white play e5 to attack the knight. So back to the position of e4. The best move for the black will be move the knight to c6 and prevent the pawn to move forward. So if the knight c6 was played, now the pawn cannot move forward, and if you move forward to e5, then you can just move your bishop to g6 and attack the bishop. And after the queen move away, let's say the queen move back to d1, then the knight you're able to move to h5. So in the actual game, after the pawn moved to e5, the bishop moved to g6 and attack the queen, and after this come the brilliant idea or brilliant sacrifice from the white. I give you a couple of seconds to figure out how the white continue to play in this position. Well, congratulations for those who find the brilliant move idea from the white. In the actual game, the white made a queen sacrifice. Queen takes g6 and check the king, and this is a very beautiful sacrifice. By sacrificing the queen able to capture the bishop, and after the pawn capture, the rook will capture back the rook. So this exchange will exchange a queen for a bishop and a rook. So queen takes g6 and check the king. And if the king move to d7, Then you have wing and the bishop is win from the white. So therefore, after queen capture the bishop, and this is a sacrifice, the black capture back the queen, and after this, the rook capture the rook, and now the rook is pinning the king, and the bishop cannot move as it's being blocked by its own pawn. So after this position, the black play knight to e4. Wow, this is a tactical blunder as it's giving up the free knight to the white. So actually the best move will be the knight to, you can move the knight to d7 and protect the bishop, or you can just move a pawn to c5. So let's make this example move like a pawn to c5, and here is sacrifice the knight. So if you capture the knight, then the pawn will capture back, and after this, bishop to d3, and the king can just move forward, and after this, the pawn capture the pawn to c6, then you can just check the king and attacking the pawn. So if the white develop, then the queen will just capture, and now the knight takes to g to e2, and after this position, the white is hardly can checkmate the king, and the action for the queen will just be enough, and this position black is better. So after rook takes the rook, knight e4 is a blunder because it's giving a free knight, and after this, the pawn takes the knight, takes e4, then the pawn takes e4, d takes e4, and now c3 was played to create a very solid pawn structure, and after this, c5 was played, and this to destroy the pawn structure. However, the white keep on attack by playing a bishop to g2, attacking the center pawn. And also after this, the bishop will able to capture the pawn at b7. So c takes d5 was played, and now bishop takes e4. Then queen to b6, protecting the own pawn and also preparing to attack the b3, b2 pawn, and also threatening to win with the pawn capture the c3 pawn, and then the queen will able to attack the g1 knight. So there is a many idea that the black can play, and after this position, the white play a knight to e2, and here this is a piece play to attack the pawn and also protect the pawn at c3. So here the white has a strong initiative, even though the white lost the queen in the game, or we call it a sacrifice of the queen. So after this position, the black play knight to d7, and after this, the pawn c takes c4, and now the black play a long castling, and now the rook is protecting the bishop, and after this, white keep on develop by playing knight b to c3, and the king moved to b8, and after this, the knight moved to d5 and attack the queen. So queen e6 was played, and here the bishop keep on develop by playing bishop to f4, and also the rook prepare to come to c1 and can attack the square at c7. Then knight b6 was played, and now the knight takes b6 and the queen takes back the knight. Queen takes b6. After this, e6 was played, and here you have the open check the king, and now the king moved to inside, king to a8. Then rook c1 was played and give up the pawn. So if the queen capture the pawn, and this will be the bad move, because the rook will able to come to b1 and attack the queen. And if you capture the free pawn again, then you have the bishop takes the pawn and checkmate the king, as the b8 square is being attacked by the bishop. So here you have the checkmate in 1. So after the rook c1, this pawn cannot be captured and is a poison pawn. Therefore, the queen captured the e6 pawn. And after this, bishop to e5 prevent the queen to capture the e4 bishop. After this, the queen move queen to g4, and here the queen is planning to attack the bishop. So the white want to keep the bishop to maintain the diagonal attack of the a8 h1 diagonal. Therefore, they move the bishop to h1, and this bishop is being protected by the rook. So e6 was played, and now rook to c7, preparing to attack the pawn at b7. So after this, in this game, the black play rook to b8 to protect the pawn, and after this position, the white is winning at mate in 3. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the white make the very beautiful checkmate. Well, congratulations for those who are able to find the beautiful sacrifice checkmate. And here come the other beautiful checkmate, where the white play a bishop takes b7 and check the king. And after this, again the king have no place to move and cannot avoid the check. Therefore, it need to capture the bishop. So in this position, the black capture the bishop, and now you have the rook to c8 and check the king. Rook to c8 and check the king. And after this position, the black resign the game. And if the game to be continued, the rook move to b8, and you can just simply use the rook and capture the rook. And here you have the very beautiful checkmate. And this game can be win without the need of the queen. And with this, thank you.